Hey all, welcome back to the channel, and yes, today is countdown day. Now normally I would say it's Friday, you know what that means, it's countdown day, but we're changing the workflow a little bit for my benefit now that I'm back to work, and the world is kind of starting to come back on track. And the way we're going to do this going forward now in 2021, or at least the way I'm trying to do it, is that we're going to have the voting occur from Wednesday to midnight on Fridays. And then we're going to do the results, the countdown that you guys are here for, on Mondays now. We're going to kick your week off. And earlier in 2021, not that 2021 is really deep in yet, but earlier in 2021 I did my personal top 10 best and worst list of 2020. Well, we're going to see how that compares to the best and worst list of 2020 as voted on by you guys all across social media. That's right, this is the fan voted top 10 best and worst Transformers of 2020 in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, baby, light them up and hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod for or an admin for, all that is linked in the description. Check me out across social media. All of that also linked in the description. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring. Or, of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube. Become a channel member. And this is the top 10 best and worst, as voted on all across social media by you guys, of Transformers releases for 2020. We're going to do 10 to 1 for best. We're going to do 10 to 1 for worst. We're going to see kind of how the votes played out. Some of this I agree with. Some of this appeared on my own list. Some of it didn't. Some of it I'm pretty surprised at. So without any further ado, let's jump into the best list with the honorable mentions first. Now, the honorable mentions for the best actually have 6 this time. 5 had the exact same number of votes, and then 1, a curious one, had more votes. The 5 that had the exact same number of votes for best was Grapple, Studio Series Scrapper, Studio Series Sentinel Prime, Make Toys Downbeat, because it had like some sort of metallic reissue or something, and the Netflix Bumblebee. All of them, same number of votes. Not enough to make it on the list, but they all had the same number of votes. The one that I found curious was Siege Jetfire had a number of votes. I would count him for 2019. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I did count him for 2019 when he came out. But in 2020, he had a number of votes. None of them made the list. So who did? Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to kick things off with number 10 first. And guilty of being one of the best, apparently, is the Quintesson Judge from Earthrise, coming in at number 10. I get it. A lot of people voted for this one and said, look, we have waited 30 plus years for a Quintesson Judge. This one is super accurate. We have a number of faces where the mouth moves. It can transform. It has the articulation that a Quint should have. And the paint is stupendous and glorious on it. Tend to agree. But because of all those reasons, he got enough votes to solidify himself at the number 10 slot. Number 9 easily made it on my list. In fact, a version of it made it on my list last year. I'm talking about Soundwave. In this case, it is the Netflix trilogy Soundwave. I've got some parts changed out on this version with the Siege one. Of course, the Ravage, the Laserbeak are great. Everybody said, look, this is the Soundwave we've always been waiting for. He has excellent articulation. He looks the part. He is a cassette player. What's not to like? And you know what? They're right. And for that reason, he takes the number 9 slot. Number 8 is perhaps the most successful of the Datsun trio, that being Earthrise Smokescreen. This guy, I think, is the best use of this mold. Now, some people have complained about this and said the back doesn't sit perfectly flush. Some people have said that the pieces on the inside of his legs tend to fall off. So it hasn't been uniform that this guy is touted as one of the best. However, I would venture to say that he is, because he's the most successful use of this mold. And apparently a lot of people agreed that this was the most successful use of this mold. And for that reason, he takes the number 8 slot. Number 7 I don't have because it's not out here yet. As a matter of fact, number 7 would be a qualifier for me for 2021, not 2020, but a number of people did have this guy in 2020, and it is the Kingdom Cyclonus. I hear the dude's awesome. Really can't speak to it, no absolutely zip about it, but enough people think he's awesome that he took the number 7 slot. Now, number 6, I actually had a version of this mold on my countdown as well, but it was a different version of this mold. Number 6 is the Earthrise Hoist, who is surprisingly excellent. I prefer the Trailbreaker, but he didn't get the votes. This guy did. I can't argue it. You know what? Trailbreaker, Hoist, whichever one you like. The robot mode looks very accurate to the animation. The truck mode, super accurate. The transformation is interesting, involved. A lot is incorporated, but what's not incorporated needs to be moved very specifically and strategically. The backpack is brilliant and beautiful. The head sculpt is brilliant and beautiful. There's nothing here not to like, and for that reason, he takes the number 6 slot. And here at the halfway mark, or rather the quarter-way mark, we have at number 5 for Best Offering of 2020. This is the package form, and this is on loan. I don't own this guy. This is, of course, Gigawatt. Or Gigawatt. I'm calling him Gigawatt. But some people have debated the pronunciation. A lot of people really like this guy. I'm going to do the review. All I'm going to say is I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's all right. But again, you have to consider that here in Canada, this is $60. That's a lot of money, man, just saying. But you know what? A lot of people do see it, do love it. They think the paint is premium paint and brilliant. They love that side swipe mold. They think this is a good use for it. They like the head sculpt. I get it. I understand it. It's a cool car. Always was a cool car. And you know what? A lot of people are happy now that he can turn into a robot. And for that reason, whether I agree with it or not, Gigawatt takes the number 5 slot. Number 4 appeared on mine. As a matter of fact, a version of the mold appeared, I think, last year as well. But this year's version is Nemesis Prime. With his trailers. I love this set. I think it's fantastic. Now, you may notice I have all the stuff on him. We're going to be doing a review of this later in the week, but it's a 3D printed piece thanks to Grimlock Gone, and it allows all of his accessories to go on him, but even without that, this was a great set with tremendous accessories. How often in North America do we get a Nemesis Prime, especially one with his trailer? Yeah, this is a spoiler pack worth getting for sure, and evidently a lot of people agree with me on that, and for that reason this guy takes the number 4 slot. Number 3 is the big, bold, brash, and beautiful Earthrise Titan class Scorponok. Yeah, I love this guy. Honestly, he could easily be a contender for number 1. One of, if not the best Titan that we have. He works so tremendously well. In episode 800, I looked at, you may notice he has like his big blaster here, and he has blasters on the back of his shoulders as well as the front. Those are 3D printed parts. There's some ramp extenders. We looked at all of these add-on parts, these 3D printed parts. We looked at interconnectivity with Black Rorichi and a couple of fast tracks who act as guard miners. We've done all of that in episode 800. This guy is stupendous. Whether he's a Scorpion, whether he's a city, or whether he's a robot, Scorponok has to take one of the top spots for best of the year. And indeed, he did at number 3. I cannot and will not debate against the pick for number 2 because it's pretty much a perfect pick for number 2. It is Skylynx. I'm sure he would love to be number 1, but the Earthrise Skylynx is tremendous. This is fantastic. It really is. I love the way the Skylings turned out. I didn't think I was going to. I was intent on keeping the Combiner Wars. But man, oh man, this guy is brilliant and beautiful. The engineering is pretty great. Not perfect, but pretty great. The transformation is so intuitive and easy, even though you would think it wouldn't be. The base mode is a huge bonus. The kind of capturing the essence of the character is all there. He is tremendous. If you can see your way clear at all to having a Commander class Skylings, do it, man. He's one of the best, and everybody agrees, and that's why he takes the number 2 slot. And number 1 is probably very anticlimactic and probably won't surprise anyone. It is this guy, Earthrise Optimus Prime. Now, mine has the Second Chance trailer. We're going to lay that aside, but this guy took number 1, and he took it, honestly, quite definitively, quite easily. Everybody said the same sort of things. They said, look, his truck mode is perfect. His robot mode is perfect. Now, I don't think the robot mode is perfect because the tires should fold away like they do on Siege. The truck mode is excellent. Again, I don't know if I'd call it perfect, but it's excellent. He does come with a Matrix. He does come with an Ion Blaster. He does come with a trailer that has that drone thing. Part of the trailer can be a shield. The drone thing can come off and go on his back as like a thruster pack or something. You can, if you're lucky enough to get the Centurion pack, add a bigger blaster to him. His axe, he comes with the Matrix. Everybody said the same thing. This guy is a definitive chug Optimus Prime. And you know what? They're right. I don't see a way to do it better. Whether you got the Earthrise version or the Netflix version or the Kingdom version, this Optimus Prime is absolutely worth getting. Excellent transformation, very involved and interesting. All the bells and whistles that you could want. The only thing that I did was add the blue here and red on the tops of his shoulders and on his biceps because I thought it should be there. But you know what? It's hard to argue that this guy was anything less than the best offering of 2020. And there you have the voted on best offerings of all of 2020. Voted on by you guys. A lot of it I agree with. You know, Scorponok, yeah, I agree with. Skylings, Optimus, I totally agree with. Nemesis for sure. I would have picked Trailbreaker, you know. I had a couple of differences. Soundwave absolutely for sure belongs on the best list. I'm looking down there because I have them next to me right there. So, yeah, really happy with how that turned out. But that's only half of it because you guys voted not only on the best, but you also voted on the worst offerings of 2020. So, let's kick things off with the honorable mentions for worst offerings of 2020 as voted on by you guys. Again, all across social media. Now, to be fair, the voting for the worst was a lot smaller than the voting for the best because a lot of people struggled to come up with bad offerings. I get it, but we do have 3 honorable mentions. One is the Alicon because of the arm articulation limit. I put him on my worst list explicitly for that reason. Otherwise, he's great. If the arm could go out to the side like that all the way, he'd be pretty much perfect. Earthrise Prowl. The whole reason people voted for him, well, it was twofold. Some people did it voted for him because they're concerned about the clear plastic for his lower legs. He also got a couple of votes because people said, you know what, he's just too frustrating to get, not worth it. And that is something that makes him the worst. When you don't want it because it's not worth getting, that has to be on the worst list. Didn't make the list, but you know what? A good justification for getting into the honorable mention. So who did make the list? Well, we're going to kick things off again with number 10 first. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on a second. I need to pump the brakes before we actually look at the countdown. One more honorable mention that I forgot to mention is a number of votes that came in for pricing and exclusivity. A lot of people said that the volume of exclusives and how hard they were to get should be considered one of the worst things of 2020. A lot of people said the pricing has just gone too high, and that should be one of the worst things of 2020. They obviously can't make the list and don't count, but a lot of people voted that as the worst for 2020. Now, what about the actual plastic offerings? Some of these I agree with, some of these I don't. Some came on my list, some did not, but we're going to kick things off now with number 10 first. And number 10 is the Earthrise Starscream. That's right. Look, a lot of people love this, and they're like, he is excellent. He's not as good as the Siege, just objectively. No waist, no wrist rotation. The transformation is uninspired, and all of this on the side. I get it. Yeah, he was one of the worst for me too. If you love him, cool, you win. But from an engineering standpoint, from a pricing standpoint, we got more for the same price in the last line than we got out of this guy. For that reason, he takes the number 10 slot. Number 9 made me kind of sad, but a lot of people voted for this guy. It is Double Dealer. A lot of people weren't happy with this guy. They said his elbows are too weak. Mine are fine, but I understand it. They probably should have been ratcheted, or at least a soft ratchet. A lot of people have also said that they've broken the legs. Not exactly sure how. But I guess if you move something the wrong way, something could snap. So I get it. We have a tolerance issue and we have a QC issue. For that reason, he would have to take a spot on the worst list, and he does. Coming in at number 9. Number 8, I don't have, but I've heard nothing but bad things about the Revenge of the Fallen Studio Series Soundwave. I didn't think it looked good. I didn't think the concept of him turning into a satellite was particularly great. I get the notion, like a communication satellite. I understand it. But when I saw the Studio Series one, I was like, okay, fine. They're doing the Soundwave that turns into a satellite. And then I saw the satellite mode. I'm like, that's idiotic. It's just the robot with his legs like kind of twisted up, and it's no. Too much gray, not enough color break. It just, no, I get it. It's not good. I've heard that there are articulation limits or tolerance issues. The color isn't great. The transformation looks like it's trash. I haven't experienced it, but I've heard from nobody anything good about it. And for that reason, because the word of mouth even is so bad, he takes the number 8 slot. Number 7 is the Paradron Medic. Not the best mold in the world, as we know. Huge backpack. Yes, can come off, but the glider thing that she stands on isn't good. I'm happy to have a Paradron Medic because we haven't really had one, and I'll give credit where credit is due. There is more detailing and paint apps on this version of the mold than on other versions of the mold. But, and the articulation's great. But the transformation is just, it's not good. You're just cramming things up underneath. It's barely a transformation. This is the epitome of lazy shell former. For that reason, it takes the number 7 slot. Number 6 is going to be real quick because number 6 is Alita 1. Exact same kind of criticisms as with the Paradron Medic. I think she looks good. She's probably the best looking version of that mold, and there are some remolded bits, but again, very uninspired transformation. I personally don't like the, I'll say, mismatch of the tan and the white. It throws me for a loop. I'm sticking with the Power of the Primes one, as imperfect as that one is too. But because it's a mold that's generally considered not great, she has to take the number 6 slot. And here we are at the 3/4 mark, or if you prefer the halfway mark, whatever. And I don't have it in my hand yet, so I'm going to get it now. Number 5, the halfway mark, is one that I like, but I sort of understand. It is this guy, Earthrise Ironhide. I sort of get it. We're going to be reviewing this coming up. I don't think it's bad by any stretch of the imagination. But people cited 2 things. One, they said that they found the Siege one better. We'll see when we review this. Some people also noticed like the chest gap with the window. I get it. I get it. Some people said that the red on this is a little too pinky. I get it. But more than anything, people said that this is one of the worst because it's just plain too hard to get. It sucks the joy out of the hobby of collecting. If something is so hard to get that it sucks the joy out of collecting, it has to be one of the worst of the year. And for that reason, this guy takes the number 5 slot. Number 4 is a floorboard. Yeah, you can call the shield all you want, but it's a floorboard. It's sound barrier. And a lot of people chose this one because it's the most uninspired one, like Slitherfang at least has an interesting transformation, and Double Crosser has the most versatility, but this guy literally just stays like he is here with the back flipping down, and that's it. That's all that's to his transformation. Plus, a lot of people have noted that the ball joints at the hips break off, so tolerance issue, really no transformation. How couldn't this guy appear on this list? For the reasons of like laziness and just breakage and just not being interesting, he takes the number 3 slot. I'm sorry, I said number 3 slot. I meant number 4 slot. We're into the top 3 or bottom 3 now. Number 3, I don't have in hand. It is the Netflix Bumblebee. Now, I'm surprised that he is considered one of the worst. Now, some people said, hey, you could use the Cliff Jumper or the Bug Bite or the hubcap version of the mold. And I get it. I put the Bug Bite one on mine because he was loosey-goosey and just way too small. Interestingly though, most people voted specifically for Bumblebee. I think it's because Bumblebee just raises the ire of so many people after being shoved down their throat for so long, that as good as this Bumblebee is, he just feels too small for the price that they're asking. And when you're not getting value for money, that would definitely put you on the worst. And he takes the number 3 slot. Number 2 breaks my heart because it's my favorite character. Number 2 is Earthrise Wheeljack. A lot of people complained about the windows that flip up from the knees and said they fall off or break off. A lot of people pointed out the tolerance issue with the head, which doesn't really bother me. I don't really have a tolerance issue with the head. It's okay. I don't have a tolerance issue with the head. Mine works fine, just fine. A lot of people complain about the small wings over shoulders. I guess you can upgrade it if you want, or the kind of weird shape of the forearms. I get it. There's a lot of criticisms here, but I think the alt mode is brilliant. I really do. I love all the paint that's on it. Though some people have complained and said the paint scrapes off. I don't really get that. Mine hasn't. In terms of robot mode, like this looks quintessentially like Wheeljack. Some people didn't like the off-white. Called it almost a cream color. I don't know. I like it. I like a lot here, but I understand the criticisms. And because there are so many, almost an endless laundry list of them, he had to take the number 2 slot. And number 1 worst Transformer offering of 2020, as voted on by you guys, and it was mine as well, is Earthrise RC. And what a shame, what a raw deal RC is getting. Here's the thing, I think, objectively speaking, this is a great RC. Excellent articulation. It largely looks like RC. I think the head sculpt captures the character better than the Masterpiece. And the transformation, like, it's effective. It works fine. It's just that the design isn't great. There's a lot here by rights to like. And some people will choose this as their RC, and I can't argue it with you. I like the Generations, but a lot of people even point out, like, the kind of hollowness in the back of her legs. I don't know. There's a lot here to like, but there's a lot here to criticize. She's such a mixed bag and so polarizing in the fandom. But because almost unilaterally people voted for RC, and because I totally see it, I understand the gripes, and I kind of like the earlier version. Like, I think the earlier version beats this. If you didn't have the earlier version, this is fine. But because the earlier version beats this, it has to take the number 1 slot for worst offering of 2020. And there you have it. We've gone from 10 to 1 once again. A lot on the worst list I understand. Some of it I don't, but a lot I do. Broke my heart with number 2, man. It just goes to show that the lists don't always match up with my tastes either. I do agree with RC. Not because she's bad, because she's not. It's just for the value for money and the kind of the laziness of that engineering. I get it. I do. I understand it. There's a lot there to like, but there's also a lot there to not like. Let me know where your favorites did or did not fall. I know where mine are in comparison, and you can go and check out that countdown as well to see what my personal list was. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. Hit the subscribe button while you're at it, baby. Stick around, have some fun with us. Don't forget that somehow, someway, each and every single day, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old-fashioned way, baby, right here inside the videos.